Hi and welcome to this DCP web tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to create free word clouds using the word cloud generator. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the web browser. So I'm using Google Chrome. I'm going to go to this website called wordart.com. So I'll put a link to the same website in the YouTube description. So here's some examples of different word art that you can create. I'm going to show you how to do this. You can go ahead and click this create your own word art button here, but I would recommend that you sign up. Now you can just go ahead and click login, and you can log in with one of these accounts like Twitter, Google or Facebook, or you can go ahead and create a user account here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Facebook because I've already created an account using Facebook. And here you can see examples of word art that I've created before, but we want to create a new one. So we're going to click on this button up here, create. It's going to take us off to this page and it's got some sample text in here, but we don't want this. So what we're going to do is, let's see, we want to just click on this text here. In fact, what we can do, I believe, is just click remove here. Just remove and just keep selecting the text, and we remove all of this text here. So it's going to be empty basically, right? If you click visualize, it's going to say please input some words before you can create the word art. Okay, I'm just going to open up a new tab. I'm going to go to my website and I'm going to use this sample text here. So we need some text. So I'm going to copy this text, copy all this information here. You can take whatever text you want from whichever location, and I'm going to go ahead and click import here, import, and I'm going to paste in this text. Now you can import CSV files, you can do loads of different things. It says remove commas from words, so I'm going to get rid of all the commas, remove numbers and stemming. So I'm not sure what stemming is, but we won't worry about that too much. But this is the text, right? So here's the text. You can go to web and put in an actual URL and it will draw in the information that way as well. So I could go to a page and it will grab all the information. But I just want to take this introduction text here and click import words. So here's all the different words that came from that block of text, and I want to go ahead and click visualize. So when I click visualize, you can see the word art is now being generated, right? This little cloud, all these different words, you can roll over them and they'll kind of drop this shadow. I'm going to show you actually how to put different links in here as well, and how to download this in different file formats. So you can actually embed this into a web page as well and have these as active links. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let's go ahead and change this. So the way to change it is to click on shapes first. So you've got shapes, fonts, layouts and styles, these different options down here. This is where all the text content lays, you could say. And we're going to go ahead and click on shapes. So here you've got all these different shapes, you've got all these different permutations. So you've got clouds, you've got emojis, you've got geometric, got like Halloween stuff. So if you want to do something for Halloween, you can click on this little mask here, for example, click visualize, and it will take all them words and then it will create the style of this image using those particular words, right? And you can select different fonts. I'm going to show you how to do that, but for now let's go back to all and let's go ahead and maybe select something. Let's see what would look good. Let's have a look at maybe let's see this one here. This looks quite interesting, right? This shape here, this kind of skull, right? So you've got this one here. I don't think that's too impressive. Let's try the skull and bones, this one here. I think maybe that will look a bit better. So here we've got this like skull and bones. We'll use that for the moment and maybe we can switch it over to something else afterwards. Okay, so then we can move on to fonts. And in the fonts, we've got all these different types of fonts here that we can select, right? So right now, the one that's highlighted blue is the one that it's using, but you can go ahead and click on this one here. Let's just select it and then click visualize. And now the fonts have changed to that particular style, right? That particular style, you can see. You've got all these different fonts. You can even, I believe, upload a font if you really want to. You can download a custom font and upload it and use that. But I think there's plenty of selection in here to work from. But whenever you select one of them, you can also select other options, like if it's regular or bold. Some of them have different options, like Roboto. This is quite a good font to use, and that has different permutations, right? So it has regular font, so we can go ahead and visualize with that Roboto font, and we can see the text in here now like this. And then we can click on the drop down, and you've got all these different styles. You can do like black, which should be quite thick text. So this D shape should be a lot thicker now, right? When it's rendered out here, you can see that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next tab, and we can see layout here. So layout determines how these words are laid out on the page. Right now it's set to horizontal. If I set it to vertical and then click visualize, all the text is going to be vertical rather than on this horizontal. Now you can see it's all vertical and it will kind of switch around like this, which is quite interesting as well. Kind of like that as well, but I think horizontal is a lot easier for people to read. And there's some other options in here. You can do like random, you can do like a sort of an arrow sort of shape. Then all the text will be laid out in that particular shape, right? So this is quite interesting as well. So you can experiment with this. I'm going to stick with vertical, horizontal for now. And then the amount of words, so you can like increase the density by let's see, clicking define, dragging this slider. Let's drag it all the way up and refresh it, and the words should be more packed out now. There should be more usage of those words. So we can see it's a bit more dense now in here, but that might make it a bit more difficult for people to select specific words or text. So we can click auto, or we can say keep as is or auto. Let's just set it back to its default, I think it was 500. So we set it to 500 anyway, and we just leave it as auto and just click visualize, and it's going to just maybe pick the best option for us, right? We can change the density. Right now it's set to 20%. If we set it all the way up to 50%, let's just see, that should make it more dense. There should be more words being used right on the page. Now we can see it's much more dense, yeah, like this, and we can leave that back at 20, which I think is pretty good. Let's just visualize it, and then we can see that as well. Now we can see it like this, and then we can say words inside letters. So you can see inside the letter D, there's some words written inside of there. If we untick this and visualize it again, then no words will be contained within the letters. I don't think that's too impressive, so let's just set that back again, and maybe the density will increase this a bit. Let's set it to something like 40%, and I think it will look a lot better as well. So I think that looks pretty good. That's a pretty good compromise. Okay, so the next tab is about style. So when we click on the style tab, we can see that as default, the word color is inherited from the shape. So what does that mean? If we go to shapes here, and if I pick a different shape, let's say if I pick this one, for example, and then click visualize, we'll see there's blue and orange in this color. So we can see the orange and blue here, right? And if we go back to the skull and then visualize that one, all the text will be black because it's inheriting the colors from the actual artwork here. So you can see it's all black. But if we go down to style here, we can click on this custom option, and we can customize it like this. So we can have our own color scheme. So if you've got a branding for your business, or you want to do something a bit different, then you can go ahead and click on this custom. When you click on the actual swatches here, you can click on these swatches at the bottom, and when you click on each one of them, it will remove that particular color, and you can select up to 8 colors. So you can specifically pick a color. You should know like the RGB value or the hex value here. You can enter that in here, or you can do RGB like this. So there's a few different options here, or you can go ahead and just click random. So I'm just going to go ahead and click random. So we've got some random colors here, then click close, and then we can see the random colors in here as well. So there's something called color emphasis. And color emphasis is really about the prominence of the words. So if I go to words here, you can see that DCP is at 4, and then clients is at 3. But if I go ahead and set something like website to, let's say, 30, so I want to use that word 30 times in here. If I click visualize, or let's left click outside first, let's just click down here, you can see 30 at the top here for website. If I click visualize, then you can see the word website is quite big and bold. It's like giving that more prominence, right? So when we go to style and we see color emphasis, if we set this quite high, something like 74, those words that we're using like DCP, you can see DCP 4, clients 3, and a website 30. Those 3 particular words have the most count inside here, so therefore they will have more prominence, they'll have more emphasis. So I'm going to set this back to 3. I'm going to click visualize, and in theory that word website should now be less emphasized, right? So DCP is like the main one with like the most prominence. So that's what this color emphasis will do. We'll set this back down to something like 20% as it was, and then we can change the background color by clicking here, and then we can like select a color. Maybe let's just try red, for example, and click apply, and we've got a red background. That doesn't work very well. Let's try black. Maybe black will work a lot better. Now we've got a black background, right? And we can make it transparent. So when we export as a PNG file, it will have a transparent background. So that's quite interesting that we can do that. But for now, I think we'll set it to black. I think black looks quite good. Let's just go to undo transparency, and then we'll leave it as black like this as an example. Then we've got the background image. Let's see, background image percentage. So I think this is how much this image will show through. I don't think we really can see this on a on a black background. Let's click apply. So now we can see the outline. So if I make this less or more, increase it, then we can see the effect that it's having right here. So it's the shape, this black shape, how much of that should show in the background. So let's reduce that down to maybe something like, in fact it looks pretty good when it's like solid black, right? So maybe we'll leave it like that for the minute. And then animation speed. So when we roll over these words, you know, how long does it take to animate? If we set it to 1 second, it's going to be very, very slow, the animation. So that's too slow. So let's set it down to like, I don't know, this is the background. Let's set it down to 0.3 or something, right? That's quite fast actually. Something like this, maybe in the middle somewhere. 0.5. It's a bit slow. Something like this. 0.2 I think is pretty good, right? And then whether we want this text to rotate or to zoom. So let's go back to layout and let's set it to some randomization. Let's click visualize. And if we go back to style and if we turn off zoom and turn off rotate, then it will just basically hover. When you hover over it, it won't rotate the text and it won't zoom. But if we turn on zoom and then roll over DCP, now it's zooming. If we turn on rotate, it will zoom and rotate the actual word itself. So that's what these two options are doing. The rollover text color, so when you roll over it, you can see that it's white text. You can change it here, and in the background as well, you can change it. So it's like a black, or it's like a grey sort of fade in here. So you can adjust the fade here. You can change the color. You can do really what you want in here. Just go and experiment, and you can adjust those. But I think this is looking pretty good, and I don't mind the words are like all in different sort of shapes and sizes. I think the font, really I want to use something that is a bit different. Let's have a look. Something maybe like this. Let's try this one. The one thing headline, maybe this is better. The one thing I did notice is that I don't think you can actually change whether it's uppercase or lowercase. Some of these fonts are uppercase and some of them are upper lowercase. So you don't really get an option to change, not that I've seen anyway, so maybe someone can correct me on that. But I don't see an option to make all the text uppercase or lowercase. Maybe we can do that somewhere else. I'll have to go and do a little bit of digging and see if I can find that particular option. But I think I'm going to leave it. Let's try this gunplay one. Let's see what that looks like. So that's pretty cool, that font. That font looks quite cool. So you can go and experiment with these fonts. You can even upload your own custom one as well. Okay, so up here in this section, we've got this word animate and we've got this edit button. When we click on the edit button, we can click on a piece of text. So we can click on this text and we can rotate this specific one, or we can make it bigger. We can actually click on it and expand it or shrink it down. We can actually manipulate an individual piece of text. If you rotate something and you move it and you think, well, actually, I didn't want to do that, you can go ahead and click this reset button. But more interestingly, you can click on the text itself. You can click on this little color swatch and you can pick a specific color for that particular piece of text. So if I want to emphasize it, I can make it red and then click back on animate, and it kind of sticks out like a sore thumbnail, right? Out of all the other text options in here, this one really sort of stands out, and maybe that will entice someone to roll over it, that particular word, yeah? So that's kind of what I would use it for. If we head back to the word section here, inside the words, we can actually pick a default font for a particular piece of text. So we can go ahead and like click font. In fact, let me just show you one more thing. Do you remember I said that, in fact, I might show you, let me just show you quickly, because this might help you a little bit. You remember I said that the text here can't be, you can't switch the case, whether it's uppercase or lowercase. What you can do is select the text here. So if you wanted everything to be uppercase in a particular font, like this font, but you want it to be all uppercase, what you can do is select the text and then go to uppercase. Where is it? Uppercase to lowercase. If you Google search uppercase to lowercase, you can paste your text into here. Then you can make it all uppercase like this. Then you can select that text, copy it, and then you can import it, and then when you import it, it will all be uppercase in case you want to do that. So I just thought I'll quickly show you that. But in here, like DCP, you can pick a specific font. So if you don't want the default one, you can go ahead and pick a different one, click refresh or visualize, and it will take that particular font and apply it to only the words DCP. So we should see this word DCP should have changed. Maybe I'm already using that particular font. Let's try and use something different. Let's say this one here. So that particular word should change that particular font right here for DCP. Let's try it. It should change, right? Let's see, default. But it still looks the same for some reason. I'm not quite sure. It should really change. Maybe robot. Let's try this one. So all those words that are DCP, those ones should really change, or maybe because I've changed the color. Let's just edit, because this particular word, let's just reset it. Maybe because I've changed it and I've changed the options in here. I'm going to reset it. Let's select it and then reset. Let's see, unlock, reset. I'm not sure if because I've changed that one, that's why it's not reflecting the change. Let's see if we can get that to work. Okay, here now we can see DCP is a completely different font compared to all the other ones, right? So we can pick a specific font. So if you want to emphasize something or a specific word, and you want that word to be different from all the other words, then you can pick a font from here. But I'm going to leave it. Let's just try this one. Let's just see if we can get this to work. Yeah, now you can see that DCP is quite different from all the other fonts, and that might draw someone's eye to it, that particular piece of text, and make them want to click on it. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as default. Just wanted to show you that option is actually available. So you can pick a specific letter or word. You can change that font style for that particular word in here, in the list in here. Okay, so there's an option here called options, ironically. So when we click on options here, it says repeat. All words may be repeated. So you can say none and then close it and then visualize it again. And in theory, we can see there's like very few words because we only got a handful of words in here and they're only be used once, for example. Yeah. So we don't really want that. So we're going to just say all, or you can set a manual. So repeat column manually to choose the words. So let's just see. Let's just try manually. Maybe it will only use the amount that's listed in here, right? Here in the size. Size here. Maybe I got this wrong. Maybe size is the size of the word itself, right? So let's just try and make this 40. I thought this was the amount of times it might be used, but if I set it to 40, I'm pretty sure this is the amount of times the words will be used, right? So I'm going to leave that at 4. Visualize it. But then in here, let's see. We can tick these, right? So repeat. We can say these 3 repeat, visualize. And it should fill it all in, but only repeat those words more often in the content. Right, so we should see like DCP. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So if you select these 3 should repeat more often than the other ones, as far as I understand. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go back to options and just leave it as default. Size maximum. The words will be maximized to fill the available space. So if I click use size column, close, refresh, I'm not quite sure what that does, but we're going to try and see what happens, what effect it has on it. Use size column. So this size column, I assume, if I set it to a larger number, like 40, let's see what happens. I think this size column is related to this. Use this size column. Word sizes will be calculated according to the size column value, right? Word sizes. So if one is if the word DCP has a large size, then in theory that text there would be large, right? Be the largest text, let's say. Let's set this to like 1 DCP. Let's set it to 1 value and visualize. Then probably website would be the biggest text that we can see on the page. Let's see, on the image. Now it's website, right? And clients, can you see? These three carry equal value, 3 of each. So those three have the largest size on the screen. So I want DCP to be 3. And then let's see, DCP web. That's really what it is, right? So let's set this to 1. Set this to 1. And then, let's see. I'm going to add another word. Let's put the word designers in there because my company name is DCP Web Designers. Let's set that to number 3 as well. So these have the largest sizes. Let's visualize it again. So we should see DCP, Web and Designers, 3 large text on here, the 3 biggest text, let's say. Here we can see DCP, Web, and I don't see Designers here. Designers is here, yeah? So I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Maybe we can set these to larger values. Let's set them to like 10. Maybe they'll have more prominence now. Let's see. Yeah, DCP, they kind of stand out a bit more, right? DCP Web and Designers, these 3 here. Let's go ahead and go back to the options, and inside the options we have I'm going to leave this on maximize. Let's just refresh this. I'm going to kind of leave it on the default value. I think that gives probably the best solution. I kind of like this anyway, like a bit random. I think it's fine. I'm going to go back to options and I'm going to go to links. So it says pattern here. Apply the pattern below to assign links to words, or we can do manual. So let's do manual and open links in new window and close it. Now we've got an option to put a link in here. So if I go back to DCP, copy this, my URL, and put that into web here and designers, these 3 here. And if I click visualize, and this is only applicable if you're going to embed this into a web page, for example. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do that a little bit later. But if I click on the word web, if I click on, let's say, I don't know, core, if I click it, nothing happens. But when I roll over web and click it, it will open up my web page. So these words, you can link them specifically to different pieces of content on your website. So DCP could have been the home page, web could have been going to web design, and then maybe you know, some other word like knowledge can go to my blog, for example. Right? Let's try that actually. Let's go to my blog, copy this, the word knowledge in here. Can actually filter it from here, I believe. So let's type in KNOW, K knowledge, right? And then we can put a link here, and we should be able to clear this filter. And then let's see, knowledge here with that link. Let's go and visualize it again. We should try and find that word in this text somewhere. The only thing is when you refresh and visualize, it does actually re-stack all the content. So I think that's okay though. Let's see. We're looking for the word knowledge. Here it is. If I click it, it will take me to my blog. Do come and check my blog if you get some free time. You'll find lots of useful articles, videos, tutorials, a lot of stuff from my YouTube channels in here as well, but lots and lots of good articles around different subjects, so you can check that out when you get some free time. Let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and click save. Let's show you how to save this as well. So let's click save, and if we go to the back button, let's just go back to here, and if we refresh this, this one should be the most recent one, right? Created on the 12th. So now I've got some other examples. If I click on this bottom one, I was just experimenting. You can see there's this owl one, right? So I was just playing around. Here's an owl example. If I click on the middle one, then you can see this one with crabs, like a little crab. So using the same logic. Here you can see the uppercase version. Do you remember when I was saying cut and paste this text? Like cut and paste it in here, set it to uppercase. So this is where I set it to uppercase. When I imported it, I pasted it in all uppercase here by using the converter tool here. So that's all uppercase. If we close this one, we'll go back to our current one, And let's see if that loads, and I think this one looks the best so far, right? Looks pretty cool. So now we want to really export this into different file formats. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, I'm just going to move this to the side, and I'm going to open up this folder on my desktop. And let's just drag this across here a little bit, like this. And we want to export this. So let's go to share. Let's see, share, maybe download would be more wiser. So let's download a PNG, standard PNG. So when we click that, we'll get a PNG file. So now we have a PNG version here. And if we open it, let's just check it. It's on a white background, right? So then we can go to download JPEG version. So now we have a JPEG version that we can use, maybe in some projects, whatever we want to do. If you click PNG here, it's basically, when you click PNG here, it's asking you to buy credits to export it in a high resolution, right? So really, you probably need to do that if you wanted to use this on maybe some print design work. So if you want to use this, can you see it's not the best resolution, but for like putting it on a web page or sharing on social media or doing something like that, this size is perfect. It's perfectly fine, right? It's not going to be a problem. There are other options in here to like export SVGs, all these different options, but they require for you to pay for credits, right? Word data in CSV. So I'm not really clicked that one, but let's just go ahead and open this. So I believe what you could do is export this as a CSV file, right? So I've just exported it. So here's the WordArt3 exported. Let's just test this because I'm not sure. Let's save this work. Let's go back. Let's create a new one. This is a brand new one. I'm just going to remove all of this because I did see an option there to import. So let's go to import and let's say CSV file. Below you can import a very text or use CSV file. Let's see. So how do we get CSV file in there? So I'm not quite sure how you import the CSV. Maybe, I guess it's comma separated value. So in theory, you should be able to just open this CSV file, open it with, let's see, let's try and open it. In fact, what we could do, let's make life easy. Let's go ahead and open up Notepad. So we just open up Notepad. We should be able to drag this into Notepad. Now here's the CSV content, right? So let's just try and copy this. And let's see if we can paste it in here and then say CSV format and then import it. And then run the visualizer. And we should have all the text in here from the CSV file with the actual values. You can see 10 and 10 and so forth. If I go to options and do links, I don't know if that will show. So it's even imported the links as well, right? Can you see here from what we did before? So you can export from an existing project and then import it into a new project without having to redo all these settings again, right? But it's just the raw data and the links. That's all that you're going to get. You're not going to get anything else apart from that, just the raw data and the links. Then you can go and click your shape and select whichever shape you want and whichever color, and you can go and experiment and create another one. So let's close this. I'm not going to save it. Yeah, we don't need to save that, so I'm just going to leave it. So maybe it's already saved here. What's this number for? Let's just check. So that's just a default one. I think if you click here, if you go to menu, you can delete it from here. Delete. So we don't want that. And we'll be back to our WordArt number 3, which is the one that we're working on right now, yeah? This one. So we've downloaded standard PNG and a JPEG file, and we've shown you how to export the data and import it into another one. These are all paid options. You need to pay to use this stuff. I know you can do like coffee mugs and stuff like that. You can buy stuff, right, from this website, like coffee mugs and t-shirts probably, and lots of other different things. So go and, if you want to buy some of this stuff, please go and do that. I think this website is pretty awesome. So if you can give them a bit of your money, that's always a good thing. But I did want to show you style and then make transparent, and then go to download and PNG file. If we drag that into here, in theory when we open this, it should have transparency now. You can see it's got transparency. So if we want to import that into another bit of software like Photoshop and maybe put a different background behind it, we could even import it into After Effects or do something different, then that's a nice way to do that. We can achieve that by having a transparency. So this is transparent, this one is white background, and the other PNG file is a white background as well. You can see them all three down here. This one's a JPEG file, this is a PNG, right? We can even lay all three side by side like this. Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, so we managed to export the data or export the images in different file formats. Let's close this and maximize this. We can go to share, we can share it on Facebook. So if I click Facebook, it says your word art is private at the moment. Do you want to make it public? No, the word art will be saved. So we can make it public, and I'm going to show you how to make it private in a moment. So I'm going to say make public. Then in theory it should open up, let's see, it should open up Facebook and put this into Facebook for us. Let's try that. Let's be patient. It says wordart.com, so it's not really showing the art there. Let's just try it one more time. Let's just go to Facebook. Now you can see the art in here, right? You can do the same with Twitter. So we should be able to tweet this. Sometimes it doesn't show the image in here. Sometimes you've got to like, do it once, and then once Twitter's seen it, it should grab the image, show it. Now you can see it right on the second attempt. So we could share this. I'm not going to share it because it's not really something I want to share. But how do we make it private again? Because right now it's public, so anyone can come and look at this piece of artwork. I'm going to go back to menu and go to privacy and set it back to private here. And then click make private. Right, so now it's set to private so no one else can see it. There are other options here like save as. I'm not sure what save as. You can give it a file name. So here's the file name, so you can save it as a specific file. If you make edits to this one and you don't want to save on your original one, then you can save it like that. You can delete it, you can print it. I guess it's just straight print. You can go to emojis, click here, and you can take an emoji from here. So let's say, for example, we want the football, right? So we can copy this. This piece of text here has been copied. This soccer text right here, I believe so. And we can go back to words, and then if we add a word and we paste in that text, soccer, and then left click outside, and let's give it like a large value like a 100. And so it sits right at the top, visualized, and we should have a football in here. In theory, we should see a football somewhere. I hope, and here it is. There's the football. Right, that's pretty cool, and you can grab loads of other these emojis. Imagine you've got a restaurant, you want to do ones with like pizza or burgers and stuff like that. You could do loads of smiley faces. You can do pretty much any of these icons from here. You can import them into here. If I set that value to something smaller like 2, let's see, let's maybe set it to 3 and then visualize it. Maybe that soccer ball will be a lot smaller and not so prominent in the artwork. Now you can see like it's sitting down here somewhere, right? Not as big. I don't really want that in there. Maybe we'll leave it in there, why not? It's not going to hurt. Maybe we can click it. In fact, we can go to edit, click on that soccer ball, and you can maybe emphasize it. Maybe use like a red color, then it will stand out more. And then go back to animate, and you've got the red soccer ball there, right? You can go and go back to edit, click on it one more time and click reset, and it will go back to its default color. Click back animate, and you can animate it. So that's really for you to now go and experiment. I think I've gone through pretty much the tutorials here as well. You know, there's loads of other stuff in here. I believe you can create like a gallery and stuff, so I'm not really experimenting with that. Gallery. Please change your word art name to something meaningful before posting it to the gallery. So you have to give it like a name, then you can post it to like a public gallery, for example. Yeah. So the only thing that we've got to do now really is show you how to embed this into a website. So maybe I'll show you how to embed this into WordPress. That might be a good example of how to achieve this. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is how to add this word cloud to a website. So it's like animated like this, and you can have it on one of your web pages. We've been using WordPress because that's kind of a common tool to use to build pages, but you can use a similar strategy if you're using Wix or if you're using different types of website platforms. Bottom line is we just want to add some code to those pages in order to get this to work on the page. Let's go to share up here, and it says embed on a web page. I'm going to click that, and it's asking me to make this this word cloud public. We need to be in a public domain so that everyone can really see it, so that you can now add it to your website page. So I'm going to say make public here, and you can see there's two sections of code. It's saying add this line of code to your web page head section, and then add this line of code to your content, right? So I'm going to go over to this WordPress website. This is a little demo site I just put together. I'm using the 𝗃 theme to do this, so it's just a basic website, right? And we've got home, about, portfolio, blog. So we click blog, and we've got this blog post here. So if I want to add that word cloud to this blog post, how do we do that? I'm going to go to the dashboard here, go into pages, and in fact we'll go to post. So we can see the blog post here. I'm going to edit this first one. Let's go back to the website. We'll copy this first line of code. Copy it. This line here. And I just want to add that line of code. We won't actually see that line of code on the page, but we need it in order to get this to work. So let's click the plus sign, and we'll type in HTML here. HTML, because we want a HTML content. I'm going to put it just above the title here. I'm just going to paste in that code. Paste that first line of code. This one we just copied here. And I'm going to copy the second line of code. Copy this as well, and then go back to the website, and we need to decide where do we want to display this word cloud. So maybe we display it just after the introduction. So when I click here and I roll my mouse here, it says it's giving me an option to add another block, or you can add it from up here as well. I'm going to roll here and just click the plus sign, type in HTML again, and then click custom HTML, and I'm going to paste it into here, and I'm going to click update. So we just wait for this to update. We can click post here. We can preview, or we can just click on the WordPress button here. Then we can go back and view the website and go to the blog and then click here. And we'll see the word cloud in here. But the only problem with this is it's quite small, right? We want to make it a bit bigger. So let's go and click edit post here. So we can just right click and open in a new tab. So we're going to edit this post in a new tab up here. And we can just make this a little bit bigger. So right now it's set to 400 by 400. So we could set it to maybe something like 800 by 800. Click update. And then go back to this page and refresh it. And now we can see it's much larger on the screen. So that's probably a good size. Now remember, when we created the word cloud, certain text, if I clicked on it, it will take me to certain pages, right? So if I click on the word web, it's going to go and open up my web page. So this is my own website. This is just a little demo site that I'm just demonstrating using WordPress. So I could take that and maybe put it into one of my blog posts here and make something quite creative, right? So that's how you add it to a WordPress website. If you're using Divi Builder or if you're using Elementor, then it's a similar sort of logic. Just do a little search in how to add custom HTML using Divi Builder or Elementor, and the process is very, very similar. Right, it's very similar. You just drag in a block and put in your code, and then you're good to go. Ideally, we would add this code into the header, but for now, just to make life a little bit easier and not make it too complicated in terms of development, this is just a nice, easy way to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click update. Let's just go back and check it one more time. We'll refresh, and we could have added it in any position. We could have placed it down here, right at the very bottom. You can even split it, so you could have text on one side and then your little sort of word cloud on the other. The reason why I've placed it by itself is because the words are quite small, some of them. So really, you want to have this image quite large on the screen, so it's quite easy to click on all the different elements. So let's go back to the word cloud. We can go ahead and close this, and let's just save our work. And that's pretty much it. So if we click the back button, we can get back to all of our archive here. So you can see I've created 3 different examples. 2 are set to private right now, and this one's set to public. So if you click on here, and if you ever wanted to set it to private, let's just say you wanted to get rid of this on your website and you didn't want this to be in public, you go to menu, go to privacy, set it to private, click make private. And in theory, it shouldn't, well, it's still loading here, to be fair. Which I think is okay because you've embedded it in the page, but I don't believe anyone in the public can see it on this particular website. I'm just going to leave it public for now because I think it's fine, right? We can just leave it public, refresh it, and we'll see that embedded in here. If you want to remove this, then just go into the editor and just delete these 2 sections, this top one and this bottom one. Click the update, and then this will no longer show on your website. Okay, so there's There's lots of creative elements that you can go now and experiment on this website. I find it quite one of the best ones, to be fair, to create word clouds. There are lots of other ones out there, but this one seems to be a nice, up-to-date and modern style of creating these word clouds. So it's down to you to now go and experiment, have a little play, see what you can do, create something nice. And that's the end of this tutorial. So let's go ahead and minimize this. I hope you find this tutorial useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next DCP Web tutorial.